young artists, if you enjoy Draw and Paint What You Regret on YouTube and you would like to show your support, you can find Cash App and Venmo information below. This channel is free to watch and learn from. If you like any of my art products, please go to mpbimage.com to purchase. If you purchase, make sure you leave a comment so my product maker know that you've purchased from the YouTube link. Hey, young artists. So I am popping in because I want to talk a little bit about my student, James. James did an amazing job in this class. This is my private tutor and mentoring online class. So I'm just proud of him. James have never picked up watercolors or color pencil or even did an assignment like this before. So for his end product to be this great, I am so proud of him. I just wanted to pop in and just give a little bit of background on James and a little bit of background on the class. So if you're interested, just email me and or you can contact me even on YouTube. But James, great job. I'm so blessed to have you as a student. You are such an amazing artist and you're going to continue to be amazing.
Got stuck.
Honestly, like I said, for me, what I'm seeing, and hopefully you can see my arrow now. It's just that your
I see.
core that's here could be a little bit more
Yeah.
on the cooler side versus the warmer side. You could give a little bit more of a core in this area for the nose. Um,
But what cooler
and
or
yeah, cooler is just like a
no no
little bit more of like maybe if you don't want to go
no.
too blue or too violet, you could do like a darker brown that leans on the cool side for the core that's here. Also here, if you still want to stay in this kind of like brown color, just get like a cool tone brown. Like I think they have like a dark brown. Well, your set is different. If you could find a cool tone brown that don't lean on the warm side, it just looks more blue, like a blue brown. You could definitely do that, or you could just come in with a little bit of like a violet blue, or just a violet blue, a blue violet. And I think that may help a little bit just to kind of cool down the core. That's why I'm like I'm kind of like I'm teetering whether you should do that or not because it is in a really good spot. But I think if you're still trying to add something to it, that's the only thing that I am seeing for your core shadows. They could be a little bit more on the cooler side. Um, Other than that, I'm trying to think. A little bit of a cast shadow under the eyelid, but once again, a part of me is just kind of saying leave it the way that it is. Only reason why I'm saying that is because his eye, the actual eyeball, the whites of the eye, is a little bit too stark of a white. So typically, if you look at somebody's eye, there's a little bit more going on, like a little bit more red in the tear duct, a little bit more yellow in certain areas. That's you just really looking in on his eye. Like our eyeballs are not really a stark white. There's other lighter colors, cool blues, cool
I kind
reds, things that are happening. Does that make sense?
yeah, and I kind of touched it with red. I didn't want to go too red,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
I
you could
didn't.
have
It
lightly
was
plugged
not
it
enough.
in certain areas with your pencils. Um, but that's what I'm saying. It's like if you are going to continue, those are the things that I would suggest. Because really, yes, you can stop right here. Like you really could. Um, if you're worried about blending, I don't. The blending is not worrying me too much because I understand that technically, um, our faces have planar shifts. So I understand that this is the front of his face, the side of the face. This is where light is hitting. This is where light isn't hitting. If you want more of a blending, you just need like an in between, like a reddish color that blends on that shadow edge. Everything else for me, and it could just be I'm kind of in a season right now where I don't mind seeing smooth areas and textured areas in an actual painting. So for me it's not really bothering me much, but like I said, if you're trying to blend some of these bridges into your shadow edges, I would suggest maybe take like a warm color. It could be some people would suggest, a red color or more like a pinkish kind of color, that kind of blends. You typically want warm and cool that kind of blending into each other. So if you have like a blue brown blended in with kind of like a pinkish orange or a pinkish red color, kind of blending together around the shadow edge, that would help you with some of those two values blending into each other. Like I don't know. I know blending is preference. Um, it's not something that I'm just like, oh my God, I gotta blend things in. If I see edges too hard, then yeah, I'll do my best to, agitate the edge and soften it. But I would suggest that's probably the best thing that you could do if you're trying to get more of a smoother planar shift. That's really all it is. You're just trying to smooth out your planar shifts. Yeah. Other than that, that's really my suggestion. It looks really good. And I think a lot of it's probably because I've seen the journey from start to finish, and like you really, as many times you started over, and then the end product that you got, it was well worth it. The journey was well worth it. I think you did a great job with this. Honesty. Yeah.
I'm sorry to take you along the journey because this has been, I know it's been tough on you.
No, it hasn't. It's a really good job.
You have to slow down to just be there.
Yeah, no, you did a great job.
And the thing I was having also troubles with was right underneath the nose, that little spot, because you got it so perfect the way you hit it, not just cut in the lips, the edges of the lips to where you have the mid-tone.
Hmm.
And I just couldn't see how I could just get it or emulate that or how, you know,
I think with the
because you
nose,
get,
I once again I do know with the nose, I did a lot of corrections with my pencil. And I think what probably would help it is just a more defined core around the baseline of the nose. So it's this area that's here, just needs more of a core shadow. That way you can get a reflected light on the nose. Now the ball of the nose that's here, you probably need to adjust the drawing just a bit. It does come over a little bit too wide on this side and too narrow on this side. So you probably just need to adjust the drawing in this area and kind of soften this line a bit. That way we could get it more of an oval type of shape versus kind of like, do you see what I'm saying? Like it gets wide here and narrow here.
I couldn't figure out how to soften. I tried, and I saw that. I tried blending it. I put a white pencil, blend pencil, but I used a lighter, a cooler brown, because this just got harder and harder, and trying to take some of the cooler brown to kind of knock it down without losing the edge here.
Hmm. Because when I'm and I know your pencil's only going to be able to cover so much. Like it's they're opaque, but they're only going to cover so much because we do need like maybe a lighter, maybe something like this color that's here or this color that's here to kind of just disrupt this edge that's here to kind of soften it just a bit. And it could just be that your pencils are only covering up so much and blending so much. Because I know your
Yeah,
pencils are the Faber Castell, so it's only so much you can blend because those pencils are more layer versus blending like Prismacolors, they blend together. So it could just be that like your pencils just are just not allowing you to do more layers or it's not allowing you to blend out. Um, I'm trying to think about what other tactics you could use to kind of help with softening this edge in this area and or lightening it. Um, I mean, you could probably come in and just fix this round and just kind of darken in this area. And when you get in your core, it may not, um, this may look a little bit lighter. You could probably try to lighten it up just a bit more. It's kind of weird if you came in with your white and it still just kind of did not get it as light as you needed it to lighten up. Like the line doesn't bother me, it just needs to be lighter. That way it's just not making the shape look more bulging on one side and you're on the other side. Yeah.
I think from this was probably set in motion from the first stage. First two stages of this painting, maybe that's what happened. Maybe I went too heavy to make it what the way it is, to make that nose, to make it actually look that way. And then I kept building on top of that, trying to correct it. Maybe that's from also foundation, from the foundation of the from the underpaint to start putting color to the cast shadow, the shadow. And
It
I
could
just kind
be.
of build,
Yes, it
I
could
think.
be. Because it's only so much. I mean, although it's watercolor paint, it's watercolor paper. It's only so much that that paper will allow. Only so much
Yeah.
manipulation and layering it will allow. So it could be that, like, over time, all the layering and correcting you're trying to do with so many different materials, it's just not allowing you to lighten this area any more than what you have. It could be that, but I would
So
suggest get in your core, see what it looks like from there. Maybe darkening this area, just in this area where it's light. See what that does. And maybe just kind of blend it out just a little bit to see if that has softened the line, hopefully. Or you could just be like,
blend
you know what, I'm just gonna leave it alone. You could do that too. It's either or.
if you saying blend, so what how would I blend
So
with a cooler color?
what I would suggest, I mean, you could get like a color that is a lighter brown than this brown that's here, this dark brown that's here, and then you just kind of scumble over. So you see how I'm like kind of like zigzagging um over that line because you're just trying to scumble over a different color to kind of like lighten it.
Oh, I see.
But you still kind of you want to make
And I
sure
don't,
you're still going with the curvature of the nose. But
right.
you just want to get this highlighted area a little bit more narrow, versus it being just a little bit more bulged out on this side. That may help it because I can imagine your core being here. That's going to help separate your top from your bottom. And then if you come in maybe a little bit darker here and then just kind of like scumble a lighter color over, I think that may help a bit um, with the nose and also the structure of it. Yeah. But James, I'm very much proud of you with this because man, I just know the journey and the end product is just two different things. And I'm just proud to see where you're at. And once again, like the fact that we're doing this and we're online is it still blows my mind. Like this is being done online. And you're doing a
Hmm.
really great job, especially for someone
Oh,
who
go ahead.
especially for someone that hasn't
I'm
really
sorry.
picked up these type of materials before and to get to this end product is still really good. Really, really good. Yeah.
Well, I have to give you credit because I watch a lot of your videos over and over. If you saw a lot of views, chances are it was me. But not just viewing time, but it was probably just a lot of me. I know for sure. Because I was and going back to and looking at your notes. So I just think I got lost when you were filming 6 and 7,
Yeah.
5 and 6, and the camera cut off.
Yeah.
And I think that little detail I don't know, maybe I was trying to emulate just filling the gap by listening to what you said you did. You know what I mean? Because I'm watching and trying to do it. I know it's going to be different, but I can understand the process while you do it and talk about it when you overdub it. So it helped a lot. It helped a lot.
Good.
And it's helping. It's a big inspiration because I think when you got to the lips, I think it's when you, and the detail of the nose, that's when you have issues. And I saw the core shadow here, and I saw how you was blending it. I had it blue, a bluer than it. It's a little cooler blue, but I went back with the brown. So that's from watching your video and understand. And I know I made some mistakes that I couldn't go back and correct. So I right around the eyes. So I said that's where it kind of cut off. But I could see where I needed to work on some things, work on it. And I think a lot of it just still takes some time for me to just really work on blending and getting used to the fact of the pencil. And I think, like you said, material for one, different. Different paper makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Um, but understanding what I have to work with is another thing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot in this whole process, but it's mostly, now I'm just want to do other things with this. I think, man, I didn't think I was going to like watercolor painting, but I started to really like it now because now
Good.
you can kind of maneuver and play with it and let the water do its thing,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. A lot of it that is
but
really all it is. 'Cause watercolors, man, it's so hard. As much as I be trying to control it, it's going to do what it wants to do.
but
Yeah.
but kind of turns out nice. Like you don't get the same thing twice.
Yes.
Even if you do the same method, it's not going to be the same.
Yep.
The only way to make it the same is if you'll make a copy
Yeah.
of the piece. It's just not going to be the same. But then it turns out to be, oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be. And then and then I'm able to kind of correct some things, make the mistake look somewhat that's part of it. But I can see, but you've been very such a big help. I really appreciate your patience, persistence. I know this is taking too long
No,
to do.
James, it took the right amount of time. It was the time that you needed. It was the time that you needed. You needed that, that slower pace, taking your time, also making the mistakes. A lot of times I think and I have learned a lot with that myself, that a lot of times we don't realize sometimes we have to make the mistakes in order to learn from them. And just seeing your process, you made so many mistakes, but you did not give up and you were like, hey, I'm going to do this again. And every time you did it again, it got better and better and better. So, I mean, it was just enough time. It was the right amount of time for you. And that's what you needed for this process. So, yeah, don't knock yourself with that. Like, I'm so happy with this end product. You just don't know. This is a really good end product. Yep.
And I noticed around the ears, when you went in with some red, you went in with violet, you went in with a cooler, darker brown. Try to emulate that. You went in with your pink. Um, to me, and then you want to make sure you keep your highlights. My highlights got different, but I kind of kept it there and kept it the same. Well, I got to highlight it, but make sure I expound, keep that and just work on that. Leave it like it is and try to make it part of what the painting. So I think my problem is trying to see the blend, trying to blend it, make it all look cohesive.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. With the blending,
You
because
see it?
you're just saying things just. I think overall you're seeing a lot of your shapes, and you're like, okay, it doesn't look like they're transitioning properly into each other. They still look very much like, okay, this shape. Or I think they call it like textile painting, where you're not blending everything. You're just kind of like, okay, this is the shape, this is the value, this is the color. This is the shape, this is the value, this is
Yeah.
the color. And you're looking for more of, okay, let's have some smooth transitions from the
Smooth
shape,
transition.
from the value, and
Right.
from the color. So I get what you're saying. It's like you feel like your transitions are too abrupt, and you want to make sure that you are softening them. And really, those transitions, like for your ear, for instance, I do remember that this whole part of his ear really was in shadow. And you were trying to, how would you say, you were trying to capture that. I think you kind of lost it because this part should be a little bit more cooler overall. Like, let's say we glazed violet or we glazed blue in this area. We're still going to have the shapes, but we'll know, okay, this whole shape is more cohesive within the shadow. So your colors, your values, are going to make more sense overall in this major shape of the shadow of the ear. So I think for your ear, that is where things kind of got lost. Like you tend to stay a little bit more on the warm side of things, and it's okay to cool some things down. Like colors, we need like we need the balance of warms and cools with your colors. So I think if we had a little bit more of cooler colors in certain areas, it probably would make a little bit more sense for you. Now, when it comes to transitions, typically these are colors that are similar to each other that are transitioning. So colors, values that are very similar, and then they're transitioning from one shape into another. So that means that we need to have lighter lines, which our lines turn into edges. So that means we have to have softer edges transitioning from one shape into the next. So that's probably where things kind of, why we have this kind of like towel or textile kind of like shapes in your portrait, because we probably have too much of harsh lines or harsh edges that needs to be a little bit softer and transitioning with their values and colors. Does that make sense?
Got too carried away with the harsh line.
Yeah, I think
Trying
that's
to,
what it is.
and then trying to correct it was too late. I went in too hard, but I didn't know where to start or stop, or maybe I overly, maybe over there. Maybe I should have just did a touch, it's a hint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see where it see right there, right above the earlobe.
Hmm.
Maybe I should have hinted to the fact
Are you talking
just a
about this
little.
area that's here?
Maybe I should have just a little lighter. You think it might have been better with watercolors? I mean,
This
watercolor
trans
pencil.
this transition, I mean, if you, I mean, you know what, that it's a thought. The reason why I'm saying that is because with watercolor pencils, you could have activated them with water, and you probably would have gotten a transition between the two. The only downside with the color pencils, we can't activate them with water. You could probably activate them with like OMS, like a paint thinner, which basically just breaks down the pigment that's in the color pencils, the binder. It breaks down the binder in the color pencils and it releases the pigment. You could have tried that. The only downside, I don't know what it would have done to the watercolors in general. Because I've never tried that before. So I would, yeah, that that could have happened if you would have used watercolor pencils in this area. You probably would have been able to activate it with water, and that probably would have got giving you a more smoother transition versus an abrupt transition that you have that's here. So that could have been a way to save it. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is my perception going into it.
Mm.
You know, So if I had a different perspective, um, like you said, textile, I didn't think about that. If I went in it looking at a textile way or abstract, this probably would have been fine.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's
I'm
more,
combining,
it is more,
good.
I guess you can say when you think about like a toweling way of painting, it is more abstract because it deals with a lot of shapes. And technically the shapes is on our face. It's there. It's just that for I don't know what it is. Like when we look at somebody in real life, we don't see, these different planar shapes on our faces. Like we just see smooth, rounded, skin. It's
Right.
technically there. It's just that we don't really either we're just not paying attention to it. It could be, I don't know. When it comes to optical illusions, I really don't 100% know, but I just know that we just don't see that when we're looking at somebody.
Okay. But as far as if I'm going for the hyper realism, I fail. Because that's,
You didn't fail. Like I think this is it's pretty realistic.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
is it certain small things or things that we can kind of fix and correct and get better at? Yeah. That's the whole point of, practicing and different exercises. That way you get more comfortable with manipulating your materials. The reason why I say that is because man, I've seen this so many times. There's not a lot of students that can get this far with a portrait. And you got this far with a portrait, this far with a portrait with materials you never really used before. So I think that's really good. Because some people cannot get that far doing a portrait. I've seen some drawing and paintings where you could tell there was a bit of a struggle, you know.
mm, it was a spiritual struggle for me. So I was, wow. Uh, but I learned a lot I'm learning a lot. I think I just have to continue,
Yeah,
just continue, but just continue this with others. I got so many other things I could, pictures, faces, bodies, uh, landscape. I need to practice. Just keep
yeah.
working at it.
That's really all. Is continuing to practice. Yeah, that's a really good job.